Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is CB Baker here once again. Thank y'all for joining me for another episode of Conquering Dreams. This episode here, you can also catch on my Facebook page, which is CB Baker on Facebook. Also, you can catch it on YouTube, same name, CB Baker. Today, I wanted to really kind of just talk about one thing that a lot of people seem to always miss when it's time to be successful, right? One of the things they miss the most is owning it. And you hear people saying, own it, or you go to church and they say, claim your victory, right? And what they're really talking about here is owning it. Now, we may ask, what is actually owning it? What I mean by that, right? What I mean by owning it is if you make a mistake, the sooner you own a mistake, own it and hold it. Like how people talk about, you got an L, you need to hold on the L real tight, right? Same way we're owning it when making a mistake. You made a mistake, own it, then now look at it from the perspective of how can I learn the lesson from it. So here comes a gem. I want everybody to write this down or bookmark this on SoundCloud as a good part to listen to again. When you own it, you can get the lesson. You can never get the lesson from a mistake without owning it. You can never get the lesson from a mistake without owning the mistake. If you're still pointing fingers at other people or creating excuses or generating excuses of why something happened, even in some cases when you have the reason, you have a valid reason for something happening, if you don't fully own it, you won't get the lesson. Like even when you're trying to learn the lesson behind it and you see the reason why it happened, if you release the ownership of the mistake you made to the reason, then you don't fully get the lesson. Because here's what lessons teach you. Lessons are supposed to teach you what happened so you won't what? Repeat it again. So that's huge. So when you make a mistake, then you got to own it. Second, after owning it, you got to get and look for the lesson behind it, right? And you learn the lesson by not repeating it. Now, if you repeat the problem, did you learn the lesson? That's right. No, you did not. So if you repeat the problem, you didn't fully learn the lesson. Now, for a lot of people out there, you're going to have to make the same mistake multiple times before it actually sinks in and says, you know what? I got it now. I'm not doing that no more. How many times how many times have you either drunk too much tequila or watched somebody else drink too much tequila and you watch the consequences behind it? Then you turn around and hear about them or yourself do it 3-4 months later. Did you learn your lesson? Right. No, you didn't. Obviously, the person didn't or you didn't. I've been there. I have done that, indulged too much, and then end up, hungover severely the next day. And I say, oh, Lord, please, I will never do this again. I learned my lesson. Only to happen about 8-9 months later, do the same thing again because I say to myself, the reason is because I did X, Y, and Z. Oh, I didn't eat. Oh, I didn't do this or I didn't do that, right? But the results were still the same. I was hungover and I felt miserable the next day. We all do it, whether it be, on the extreme front of drinking or eating too much or paying too much attention to watching too much trash TV or not doing the things you're supposed to do, not paying your bills on time to have consequences. We get it every day, day in and day out. Now, one thing about it, the people that are consistent with Learning the lesson and not repeating it tend to be more successful. So it's not like it's some magic pill for a magic success formula or whatever. It's literally you make a mistake, you own the mistake, you get the lesson from the mistake, and you don't repeat the mistake. It's very simple. Now, if you're going head to head with somebody in a competition, so to speak, whether it's business wise or you're going head to head, even in a sport, and you're going head to head and you happen to lose, you want to look at why you lost. And then every once in a while, you're going to come to a situation to where the person that you was facing was just better than you. So then you have to say to yourself, okay, did I give it my all? If you gave it your all, you gave your 100% and you still lost, you can, like the people say, which is so cliche on the football field, you can hang your head high because you gave it your all, right? But nobody likes to lose, but you need to also be careful to not be too hard on yourself, because once you realize you gave it your all, you look at the reason why you lost. And if you come to that lesson and said the other team or the other thing was just better than you, then it's okay. Move on, because let me tell you something. A lot of people won't say this, but number 2 and number 3, most of the time, still get paid handsomely. That's why you should shoot for number 1, because if you don't make number 1, usually you fall around between 2 and 5. And can you imagine if you was the 5th founder of Microsoft or Apple? I think those people are pretty well off, and they was 5th down the totem pole. But if you was to say, oh, such and such came in 5th place, you would say they failed, they didn't do well, or if a team was, think about like for whatever reason, we look at the Final Four in basketball, we look at the Final Four teams that made it in a tournament. A lot of times we can't really name who won or who was second, but we can name all 4 teams, and that includes the team that won the championship. The teams that went to the Final Four, right, came in basically guaranteed 4th place, got a banner in the gym. Now, the only one that has another banner in the gym is usually the team that won the championship. They got a championship banner and a Final Four banner. But if you get to the Final Four, you still have a banner hanging in your gym. Now, if you get multiple banners in your gym, even without winning the championship, you're considered a great program. But we don't think that way personally. If you was to set out to be the best at something in your area and you keep coming in top 4, would you say I'm doing pretty good? No, you would say, I'm not doing all that well. Why can't I win? Blah, blah, blah. But you are 4th and you're coming to the top 4. And especially if there was 64 other people going for that position, or 64 other people going for trying to win at that thing that you're trying to produce or you're trying to go get day in every year, and you're coming in 4th place, I think you're doing pretty good. And you take another look. I don't have the stats in front of me, so, just forgive me for that. But think about golf. If you was playing the PGA Tour and you came in top 5 every major, they will be talking about you as being one of the greatest golfers of all time. And let's say you never won one. The greatest that never won one. Oh, but you know what? I bet if you look at his pocketbook, he'll be sitting quite nice. He's not going to be wanting for anything. He's not going to want for anything, right? So you strive to be the best, but don't beat yourself up if you don't consistently hit number 1. Own it. Own your success that you're having, whether it be good or bad. Where if you're having bad success, if you're not having success at all, when you own it, then that means you're going to find out what mistakes you made, learn the lesson, and then try not to repeat it. So therefore, if you keep doing that, how long do you think it would be before you go from 5th to 1st? If you're not making the same mistakes over again that you made before, how long will it take for you to go from fifth place to first place? Shoot, how long is it going to take you to go from dead last to first place? You hear about the tortoise and the hare, the story about that. Like, progress is still progress, no matter how slow it is. And I guarantee you that if you make methodical process of progress every day that you wake up, and it's a productive day. I'm not talking about the Sabbath. Every day except for the Sabbath, if you wake up and you make progress and do self-development stuff every day, you're going to pass by all the people that are more talented than you that don't do anything. The world is filled with people with extraordinary talent, but they waste it by not getting better every day. Now, it's not a rocket science, or it's not a Russian secret that everybody starts out at a different stages of where they're at, especially in life. When you're born, you start at a certain stage, and then you can go from there based on your upbringing from your parents, and then once you get grown, then everybody grown starts at a different stage, right? But the person who had all the opportunities, if they don't do anything with it, and the person with no opportunities betters themselves, learns different things, and keep growing, can eventually pass the person that has been given everything if they don't do anything with it. Because they don't take the time to own what they are doing. You got to own it, right? You got to own it, and owning it will get you to that next level and help you reach your full potential to be able to do the things that you set out to do. Own your success, own your mistakes. And the reason why I'm saying mistakes are not failures, because it's not a failure if you keep trying. Thank you so much. This is your host, C.B. Baker. Till next time.